Welcome to the Indie Unplugged, everybody. I'm your man, of course, Vaughan, and today we have an extraordinary guest. So let me take a moment to introduce our guest. Y'all know I give a proper introduction when it comes to the guest here on the Indie Unplugged. So today's guest is the definition of reinvention, resilience, and raw talent. Monique Nikkole, a Brooklyn-born Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter who's not only an accomplished Grammy voting member and Billboard charting artist, but also a former detective sergeant, entrepreneur, author, real estate investor, and founder of her own music, publishing, and film ventures. She made waves with her powerful spoken word outro on Antonio Vergara's The Fury, earning her first Grammy nomination for Best Contemporary Blues Album. Monique blends her rich background in law enforcement, poetry, and business to create a truly unique musical narrative, empowering, genre bending, and unapologetically real. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Indie Unplugged, a queen of the hustle, a true creative force, and an unstoppable voice in independent music. Give it up for Monique Nikkole.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. That was a great intro. Thank you so much.
That's how we do. That's how we do here on the Indie Unplugged, ma'am. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How was BET Awards?
Wow. It was great actually. I mean, I think this was one of the best ones this year. Actually. I always enjoy it anyway. It's for us, by us. So it's always a good time. But this year was an anniversary show, 25th.
Is it 25?
Something like that. Forgive me. But it was black tie this year. So it was just nice to see us dressed
up. To the
To the
nines.
nines.
To the
Yeah. It was
nines.
just it elevated the
Right.
experience
Mhm.
and the performances and the icon awards that they gave out. Also, the Jamie Foxx and Mariah Carey and Kirk Franklin. Just amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I had never been. So
Gotta go next year.
I got a whole list of things I need to go to. Like, I want to go to the
Yes.
Grammys next year too.
Oh,
I've never
definitely.
been either.
Okay. That one's easy.
And I've been a member for many years and I've never gone.
Okay. So you gotta go.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go. So, but it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. Can you take us back to the beginning, to the beginning of when you first fell in love with music? Just give us your journey and what that was like, and how did that end up? That passion for music kind of end you up where you are today.
Music is life for me. Just growing up in Brooklyn with my parents and always having music in the house. And my dad, he was straddling two worlds. He was a lieutenant on the fire department, but he also was a professional singer. So, I'm at his kneecap singing all the time. And I fell in love with the human voice very young. And that's pretty much what sparked my interest in music from the beginning. And, the talent shows and just growing up doing different things. But it was a struggle back then for me because of the stage fright. Like, it was horrible. So that was something that I had to overcome. How did I overcome
I'm gonna ask
it?
you. Yeah, how did you do that?
Just had to keep doing it. I'm always nervous anyway. I don't care if it's like a big stage, small stage, but you do it enough, you kind of could get past the jitters. And I can't really tell you, if you have stage fright, you just got to get out there and do it.
Right.
There's no cure for it.
Except for actually getting out there
and doing it.
Then that's the cure, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was my beginnings with music, and I took piano lessons, and then I think middle school I was playing tenor saxophone and a little bit of trumpet because my dad played the trumpet. And don't ask me to play anything now. I should have continued with lessons, but it was kind of like a struggle. Like with my mom was like, I don't want to do piano. I don't want to do anything. I just want to
Mm.
sing. Well, you're gonna get to take those piano lessons because that's gonna help you. And if you don't want to take the piano lessons, you can't do voice.
Oh.
And I'm like, but I want to sing. So I'm like, okay, then I'm not doing anything.
Mm.
Yeah, which
Yeah, you know that.
yeah.
Yeah. How did that work out?
I mean, I sang, but my mom was like, I'm not paying for singing lessons if you're not going to take the piano.
Mm.
So then I didn't get the formal training, so to speak, early. But as I got older, it was like, all right, I studied more. I went to Berkeley School of Music. They had like camps that they would give
Mm.
because I didn't make sense to go matriculated at the time because I had my degree already.
Right.
So but I would do things to keep myself active and learn different skills. And as forever a student,
Mm-hmm.
you always want to put more tools in your arsenal. So, yeah, so that was my evolution, so to speak, early on. And you know, it just wasn't quite supported younger when I was younger as far as music because my dad got burned in the music industry.
Mm.
So it was more like get your education, get
Right.
stable employment, find a career, and like music's a hobby. You can always do music. So
Right.
yeah, so then I kind of at that point started managing and working on the back end of music.
Okay.
Yeah, and kind of just I don't know, I kind of stifled my dream for a little while.
Mm.
But I got joy out of working in artist support, which actually helped me later on when I launched my label because I knew the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you sometimes find that the road to the end goal is not always a straight road.
That's
And so
true.
we find ourselves taking multiple paths in order to get there. It's never a straight road. It's always usually a winding road. Um,
Yeah.
but the reason why I asked you about the stage fright is because, when you're thinking about artists and the ability to perform, that's always something that most people have.
Hmm.
And just really trying to figure out ways, how do I overcome that? Because if I'm being 100% honest, that's what always kept me from being a singer, was
Mm.
stage fright. Well, that and people's opinions, I guess. Because when I was growing up, I sang. It's not my interview, right? It's not about
No, but
not about me.
no, tell us.
But I used to sing all the time. I mean, from a yay little kid all the way into high school. I mean,
Mm.
choral. I'm, going to state for every year. I mean, I did that. That's what I did.
That's a big
Uh,
deal.
it was a big deal,
Yeah.
but I had no problem singing in front of a group, which is why I was always in a group. And so you will
Ah.
always find me in a group, never as a solo artist.
Okay.
And I would do my parts, whatever parts I had to do. I was fine because it was four people. So you're not looking at me. You're looking at all of us collectively, right?
It gave you
They
comfort.
gave me comfort. And I think sometimes finding comfort in numbers is for me it was good, but could be dangerous too, because then you start to develop the habit that or the reliance on those individuals, that environment. So when you want to do it on your own, probably it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not stepping out there by myself.
Yes.
And
I remember the first solo that I did. I was in sixth grade graduation and it was We Are the World. And I don't remember what part I had. Probably Together as One. Maybe it was Michael Jackson's part.
mm,
But I just remember singing it and crying at the same time. But I mean, I was pitch perfect, but I was
terrified,
terrified.
yeah.
I'll never forget that.
And it's a terrifying experience because you got people looking at
Mm-hmm.
you, and you never know what they're thinking. They could be passing judgment. They could be like, "Oh, she's doing a great
Yeah.
job." You just never know what that is. But to your point, if you consistency, with that performance, then you're going to get better and better over time.
Yeah, because that helps with your confidence
Mhm.
level and of course live performance, of course, studio performance, or singing a cappella in the house, they're all different. So
Mm-hmm.
there's different technique, and if you're using a mic, then you gotta learn how to use the mic. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things. So like anything else, the more that you do something, you get better at it. It builds confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So
Yeah, I'm always reminded of Music Soul Child. That kind of was when he wanted to get better. He would just walk around the street and sing for people and say, "Hey, how'd you like it? What could I do to get better?" And they would give him advice. And so that built, because it was
Okay.
always on the spot. Hey, can I sing for you? Yeah. And he would sing. Oh, you know what? That was great. Okay, what did you
Wow.
like? What didn't you like? And that helped him to improve. But I mean,
That's cool.
I don't sing today. I may sing in here or in the shower,
You need to sing.
but not here. So that's why I sent you that message when you found out about the Deborah Cox.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, oh, I would do that if I sang though, because
Well,
I
we
do
gotta
know
get you
that I know
singing.
that song like word for word.
Oh, so we gonna do a
Word.
duet.
She said we gonna do a duet. That's actually one of my favorite duets of all time.
It's amazing.
Yeah, RL and Deborah Cox. They sang that song.
Exactly.
They sang that song. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, it was just so good to hear
Mhm.
that song in the restaurant. And I got back to my room. I'm like, oh, let me just, yeah. And that was stepping out of my comfort zone because I don't like, I'm not, hate to say this, but I'm not a big social media person. And being a perfectionist is like, oh, I want to practice it. I want to make it my own. I want to do all these things. So sometimes you just need to act in a moment and just sing it. This is how I'm feeling right now. I just heard this song. Yeah, I might not know every word and every whatever, but this is my rendition of it today. And just put it out there. And that's something that's just, I'm getting another level of comfort with, where I'm like, you like it, you don't, you don't.
And that's the beauty of music, right? It is subjective. People are going to like certain things. People are not going to like certain things, and that's okay.
And you might not know the song. Like some people knew it, some people didn't. Some people liked the rendition. I mean, if they didn't, they didn't tell me. But if they don't,
well, when I saw the results, I was like, how do you not know this song by Deborah Cox and RL?
Right?
What? Come on now.
You would think, but then sometimes people they need the music.
Yeah.
I guess they may. Oh, well, maybe once you get to the hook, they might know it. You know how it is.
Now it's in my head, right? Now the song is in my head.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, that's a great duet. That song is one of my favorite duets, and also Saturday with Ryan O'Neal, and it's actually her song. Well, it's a duet between them. Ryan O'Neal and
oh no, I can't help you.
You know what? That's the beauty of having
a tablet.
A tablet is because you can look it up. What is her name? Oh, it's not even Ryan O'Neal. Oh gosh. And it's supposed to be one of my favorite duets, right?
That's all right.
And because I love the song, but the song is like an 80s song. Y'all know the song. What is his name? I'm gonna get the right. Alexandra O'Neal. What did I say?
Alexander O'Neal.
Yes.
And
Sherelle.
Yes. But they have more than one song.
No, well, Saturday Love is
yes.
their best. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, love.
And it's the same. It's the same verse. She sings this verse and he sings the verse, but it's the same verse.
You know what?
If you go back and listen to
now that you mention
it's the same verse. They just sing it differently.
Okay.
So Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, when they made this, I do a lot of research when it comes to music. I actually wanted to start an R&B podcast to talk about stuff like this, but
I do that with you
because my R&B knowledge is ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, when they made the song, they was like, they didn't originally plan for that to happen. They was like, but it just ended up being that way, and they just sang it differently, but it worked so beautifully.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I mean, I'm a big Alexander O'Neal fan.
What did I say? Tony O'Neal?
Yeah, I was
Nah,
like, who
yeah,
is
nah.
that?
Alexander O'Neal.
Alexander
Yes, Anthony. I think I
O'Neal.
say
And he
Anthony.
had a sound.
He had a sound. Oh yeah.
And yeah.
The name just escaped me at that moment. I could not think of the name. But yeah,
Yeah.
Anthony O'Neal and Sherelle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one
Yeah,
too.
that's a good one. That's a good one. But your journey has been, I would say, with anybody's journey, you talked about putting your own career in the back burner a little bit, right, and not being able to fulfill what you wanted to fulfill. You moved into artist management, and then that helped you with that knowledge. And I always tell people, I said, you may find yourself on different paths, but what you're learning can help you in the future for what you may build. You never know what you're going to really need to. I always go back to the Suge Knight saying that he's told Dr. Dre and them in the NWA movie, you never know what you're going to need until you need it.
That's true.
Right. And so you got the ability to learn all these different things, business acumen and financial acumen, and so that when you are in these different places and spaces, that knowledge, you've acquired it already to be able to navigate those situations.
Yes.
Like being an artist manager comes with its own challenges.
Absolutely.
I did that for a while. I don't think I would do it. Maybe if I find the right artist, I'll probably do it again, but maybe not.
Yeah, I'm
But
done with that world.
Can you talk a little bit about that and what that transition for you, even for transitioning from being behind the scenes, now being in front of the scenes? How did that transpire for you?
Well, for me, I got tired of showing up for artists that weren't showing up for themselves. And
Absolutely.
it just, and I was more than management because I was really like a label too, because I'm investing, I'm helping you with studio time, I'm helping you shoot videos, and you're showing up late, or you're smoking, or you're not prepared for your session, and you're not really understanding what it takes to. Time is money, and if you come in, you're not prepared, that's an issue. So after a while, you just kind of get burnt out, Then I had one artist that the house burned down and they had to move in. It just was too much, and then they start stealing. Yeah, it's like, what? And that's when I stopped managing at that point. I was like, I'm done. And I took a hiatus for a while from music altogether. And then I started doing some concert promoting and stuff like that. And 2014 is when I decided that the skills that I acquired and my little type A personality to be organized, to get my back end together, start my corp, do all of that, get myself together. My husband and I, we built a studio in the house, and just like, you're gonna do this, we're gonna do it. I'll be able to record here, da 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 da,
Right.
and did it, and the first single was "Say Yes." Got some commercial success off of that. Came back, did "Say Yes" reggae remix, spread around the world, and it's just been pretty much like it's going up, which is a good thing. But that's because I knew how to work my back end too, and that was able to assist me to know what I needed to do to execute my own project and invest in myself, because you're so busy being everybody's person, but your own dreams you're not investing in, and it really wasn't fair to myself as much as I pour into the artists, and I still pour into them, but in a different way, because I'm that person that people DM all the time, and you probably get DM too, but questions, how they pick my brain, and I don't mind, I'll stop. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not, an expert, but if I were you, I wouldn't do this, or well, go with this, and so on and so forth. So knowledge is power if you use it correctly.
So that's the thing, right? So I'm a big proponent on that phrase right there. Knowledge is power. Because I tell people, I'm not going to counter what you said, but I tell people, yeah, true. Knowledge is power if you can apply it.
Exactly.
If you don't apply it, then it is.
It's not.
Who
any
cares if
good.
I know? Who cares if I can know everything in this book right here? But if I don't apply it in any kind of way, then it means absolutely nothing.
And you do have that disconnect because you do
Yeah,
have
that's
people
right.
that are book smart, but when it comes to the practical hands-on and how to application of what you
Mhm.
learned and actually being able to use that knowledge, if you can't do that, you just fried.
It is exactly. So you got to, and that's the big thing is you. And I tell when I used to manage artists and things, you got to apply what you've been reading, so that or finding out, so that you could do those things you want to do. But that was the reason why I stopped managing artists too. One, because they just didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, right? I'm one voice in a pool of many voices that you probably are listening to. But and I guess for me there has to be a organization or a compartmentalization or ranking of whose voice is primary, secondary, tertiary, etc. And so if you hire a manager, to me, your manager's voice should be primary.
Absolutely.
Maybe, and then your voice can't be primary because that's why you hired a manager, right? And maybe it's a co-primary, I guess. But that should be a primary voice.
Mm-hmm.
Then, a secondary voice could be, whoever else you put in that spot, and tertiary could be friends and family, etc. But I had artists who was trying to listen to the photographer more than they were trying to listen to me. I'm like, that's not going to work. Well, that photographer said we can do, yeah, but that's not good for your brand, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to do that. Well, they said they could put clouds above my head. Well, I don't. Do you want clouds above your head? Is that what you're trying to be? I don't think that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's just a different. That's why. But anyway, that's why I got out of it, because I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wouldn't go down. I'll advise. You want me to speak on a panel? I got a whole lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
I could give you some really good game, but I'm hands off.
Like, I'm hands off. You're not getting any of the. Yeah, nah. Trust me. Yeah, I'll consult. If you want me to come consult, then I can do that. I can
Right.
share all these 27 years plus of organizational development and leadership knowledge from coaching CEOs of Fortune 150 organizations around the U.S. Yeah, sure, I can come in and talk about how to create a SWOT for yourself, right? I can come in and talk about a skill gap analysis and all these different things. We can do that, but I can't. And that's what I always tell people. In one of our podcast episodes, I was telling them, I said, I can't teach you how to be an artist.
Right.
I'm not an artist.
That's something that you have to know.
Yeah, I can't teach you that. But I can teach you planning. I can teach you marketing. I can teach you branding. I can teach you to do a lot of different things, but how to be an artist, that's not what I do. I'm not an artist, so I can't teach you how to do that specifically. But all the other things that you need around that, I can do that for you. And that's why they will, hey, can you be my manager? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Actually, if there's a group, there is a group out there now. If they did ask me to be their manager, I probably would.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna say the group?
Loyalty is timeless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, but they already have a manager.
Oh.
So
Okay.
So Zoe, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to steal your spot. But man, those dudes are. But anyway,
They got it together.
they got it too. They absolutely got it together. They're hardworking, and I think that's the thing when you think about managing artists. You can't outwork the artist.
That's true.
The artist has to be the person who's on 100 all the time. Grind is your career.
Yeah.
Right? It's your career. And so for yourself as an artist, if you didn't have a manager, if you didn't have all these things in place, the 100% onus is on you to accomplish all those goals that you
Exactly.
want, right? So, okay, so you took a hiatus. How'd you end up in law enforcement? I think when I met you, that was most intriguing. I was like,
yeah.
How'd you get there?
Well, my dad being a lieutenant on the fire department, and I come from a very civil service oriented background,
Mm-hmm.
like as far as like my family, like, you do have your scholars and people that went into different fields in chemistry and this and that, but then you have the blue collar
Mm.
um part of the family, and learning what I learned about the pension system and benefits for the rest of your life,
Right.
and being a money person, and watching how well my family did, being able to own and do all the things in a early retirement, and be able to enjoy life,
Mm.
because back in that time it was like 20 years and you're good, and anything plus that, which I
Right.
did 24, is 160th. So it just life planning, really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I played the long game. Like, you do what you have to do so you could do what you want to do, and then you retire young. And then if I don't want to ever do anything again, I don't have to.
Mm.
So growing up with that mindset is because my father was on the job, my uncles, and
Mm-hmm.
so I knew a lot about how that system worked and how well it could work for you later.
Mm.
And I'll say one thing, like my friends used to laugh at me in high school because they'd be like, "Oh, what you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go take that transit test." What you gonna do that for? No. Oh, I'm gonna go take the PD test. I'm gonna take this test, that test, and they be out playing.
Mm-hmm.
I got my job early. I got out early,
Mm-hmm.
and they like, "We should have listened to you." Like,
Like, hey,
I mean, everybody has their path.
that's true.
So, like, and I tell them that too. Like, don't have any regrets because everybody's path is their path. But that's how I fell off into law enforcement. It's like I grew up and saying, "Oh, I want to be a cop when I grow up, or I want to be a detective sergeant, or whatever." The opportunity presented itself, and it presented itself with the best police department in the United States, which is the Nassau County Police Department. And it's not many of us on
Mm-hmm.
that department. So to even get in that department, then to make boss is a big deal. And yeah, so yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, that's you know. I think a lot of times when you have family members who pursue a certain field,
Mhm.
then and if it's something historically that the family has done, then you kind of find yourself, you know, oh, all my families, we're doctors. Oh,
Ah,
we're all dentists. Or we're
right.
all in the military, right? That was my
Yeah.
family.
Right.
We all were in the military. So
Mhm.
my grandfather's father's father, which would be my great grandfather,
Mhm.
he was in the military, and his son was in the military. Then my grandfather, and then for my grandfather, it just they were like, oh, everybody going to the military. So I did my time in the army.
Benefits,
You get your
pension.
well, I didn't get any of that because I didn't stay the whole 20. I
Yeah,
was like,
but you were kind of indoctrinated,
yes.
so you
So
understand
I got
because you.
relatives. Yeah, no, I do understand that I
Mhm.
wish I did though. The part of me wish I stayed for the duration. That way I was able to retire with the benefits.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
I still get to use my VA and all that stuff.
Yeah.
GI Bill I can never use again because they only give you a certain amount of time. Um, but they a lot of my relatives retired. I got a cousin in California retired,
Mhm.
just a few years older than me. 3 years, matter of fact, 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
You 3 years old? Yeah, I think you're 3 years older than I am. Retired. He got have a job he don't want to, but he does just because
Right.
you can get the
Because
extra money,
like
and he's young.
I'm just playing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I got in early and I got out early.
Yeah,
And really, it's whatever I want to do. Thank you, Nassau
you
County.
got the freedom to do it.
Yeah.
You got the freedom to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, so for you, for yourself, I, we talked about right. So that for me, listening to that, that was part of putting that career, your music career, on hold,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Kind
so,
of.
kind of
Because I was still straddling both
both
worlds.
worlds, right?
Yeah, and I was also the departmental vocalist too. So I got to sing at like the big arenas and
Mm,
stuff, which was cool in full uniform with the color guard.
mm-hmm,
So like I would actively do that. I mean, I was releasing music that whole time.
mm-hmm.
I was on the job when I dropped my first single. I was on the job when I dropped everything. And the last single I dropped while I was on the job was Red Bottoms and Lingerie featuring Lil Flip. And at that point, that record was moving. And that's where I got my Billboard status in the
Mm.
top 40. And I'm like, all right, you got to go.
Okay, so I have a question then.
Mm-hmm.
How did I saw the video? I saw the video, right? I was like, oh,
That's a style flip.
oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm saying, and so because I interviewed Nick Fury, he produced Lil Flip's Game Over,
Ah,
and
okay.
so I was like, oh, Lil Flip, okay, let me watch this video. I saw the video, I was like, oh,
Okay.
okay, look at this.
What we got going on
What
here?
in the world? Let me watch this whole video and see what's up. But but yeah, no, it was a great video. So when that song came out and the video came out, did the video?
I was still on the job.
So how did that kind of
It didn't.
perception?
I had no problem. Like I had my squad
Right.
of detectives.
Were they like, ooh, look at you?
I mean,
It didn't cause any issues?
No, because listen, I had no problems at work. I was so respected. Okay, Sarge. Yes, Sarge.
We saw the video, Sarge.
You know, I mean,
with Lil Flip, we seen
you
it.
know, the funny thing is that, yeah, I think they might have seen it. I don't even remember.
Mm.
But they're so respectful,
Mhm.
you know, and
And they ain't gonna tell you if they did though. That's
yeah, I mean,
right.
I didn't care either way. It's music. I
Right,
mean,
yep.
you never seen a girl like in a bathing suit or whatever. I mean, it's not like if I'm like twerking and, you know, I'm doing all this crazy stuff in the video. You know, it's just, yeah, it's you know, it was role play. You know, it's red
Mhm.
bottoms and lingerie. Yeah, you
Mhm.
know, you being sexy, but it wasn't like raunchy. So it's not like, oh, I better duck my head when I come in the door. And then I'm not one that really cares what you think.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never been that way. Like I
Mm.
don't dictate my life around your thoughts.
See, I used to be that way
Okay.
when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm at a point now. I'm 50. It's too over. I'm not trying to be a singer now. I'm not trying to.
It's never too late.
It's never too late, but I'm not trying to be a
Please
singer.
don't put that
I'm trying to-
expiration date on yourself.
I'm trying to build a BET.
I like that.
So
Actually, I love that.
I'm not trying to sing. I'm trying to build a
Okay.
BET.
But you can still sing.
I
If that's
could.
something that you if
It is
you
something I
love to
love. I
sing,
do.
you sing. You don't have to sing to
Who you Whoopi Goldberg?
Huh?
I'm Lauryn Hill. You Whoopi Goldberg. And remember,
Yeah. Exactly.
if you was meant to sing, then sing.
No, but I believe I'm
That's
a
right.
firm believer in, you know, using your gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one here, every time us artists, we go through that inner fight, like, what am I doing this for?
Mm.
Why am I spending all this money in marketing? Why am I could be doing something else. Next morning, la 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 la. It pulls you back
Mm-hmm.
because God gave that to you to share it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if you want to sing for a professional singer. If you want to sing, sing.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
Here.
okay. Do you
All the time.
Do you record?
No. No. He'll tell you. He may not hear me because he'll be upstairs, you know. I always tell the story. My son is the one who's operating the camp. Y'all know. We talk about him, right? He's a professional gamer. So he's usually in his room beating them on people, getting money, beating them on people, right? So that's his thing.
Ooh.
And so I don't know if they hear me, but I do be in here though. My wife hears me.
Yeah, you gotta sing to her.
Oh, well, I love her because she's brutally honest.
Oh.
And she'll like, yo, you got it. I'm like, but I'm not doing it. She was like, you should. You got it.
Who you sound like?
She was like,
I want to hear you.
She was like, she was like, if I'm telling you, and you know I ain't the one, I'm gonna tell you, you horrible. She said, "No, you got it." She be telling other people. I'm like, "Why you telling all them? What's going on?"
Because you need to
Like,
sing.
you need to stop that. You need to
Like,
stop
I
that.
mean, because God gave you the gift,
You need to stop that.
you know? Gotta use it.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question.
Yes.
Queen of I came up with all these questions. So let me ask the question in the right way of how I want to ask the question.
Okay.
So your anthem, Queen of Hustle, feels like a rally cry. What was the message behind that record, and who did you make it for?
Okay. The record came from some inner anger during the first Trump administration when Roe versus Wade was voted down.
Overturned, yeah.
And, I just saw these young ladies that are everyone's your daughter, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a village. And I have a daughter and I have a son. And, they should have the option, God forbid, if they need to terminate a pregnancy or, if you're hemorrhaging or anything. I mean, where are we coming up with these crazy control tactics on women? Because it's really more about controlling women's reproductive systems more than it is a religious aspect, which they try to lean on that part. And I'm not saying that you should be out there being reckless and just terminating pregnancies and stuff like that, but you do have those situations where you have to make a choice between the mother's life and, the unborn child's life, and you got to actually fight for the person that's here. You can't just allow them to die. I mean, we've had that happen, and that is what prompted that song. You know, let's do something. And I find that, like, nowadays we don't have a soundtrack to our civil rights movements like we did back in the 60s and so on and so forth. You pick your decade. They had a movement. Where is ours? Where's the music to go along with what's happening right now? And that's how that song was birthed. Straighten your crown. Listen, we gotta fight for our rights.
Yep. I mean,
Period.
yeah.
This day and age, you talking about at the time when they rolled that back, Roe versus Wade was voted into law in 1973. Okay, so you're talking about 50, well, now what, 52 years later,
Almost.
right? Almost 52 years later, we going backwards? Please make that make sense.
Like, make it make sense. The math ain't mathing with
The
that.
math is not mathing, and we don't need men to tell us what we need to do with our bodies. Hands off. So that's how that came about.
So what was the receptivity like for that song?
It did well. Number 7 on the iTunes chart, and just it just was received really well. Like, I got an outpouring of, like, people reaching out to me like, thank you. Like, we needed this. You know what I'm saying? But also a little bit of pushback because certain video stations would not play the video because they were afraid it was too political, because that was during the new campaign with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, and everybody was trying to stay on the right side. And
What side is that?
it's the wrong side. Because if you're censoring
What's the right side?
art that's the soundtrack of what's going on right now, that's a problem. So I ran into that dilemma. And what can you do? I can only do what I can do. I don't have a huge TV network or anything like that, but YouTube, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I don't know, 187,000 people viewed it, and it's it's continuing to move.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of momentum on TikTok. It went viral on TikTok. A lot of ladies walking and the woman empowerment, even men.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Even men were doing TikToks to it, and I feel like I did my little part. That's what I could do.
That's the thing, right? It's doing what part can you do
Mm-hmm.
in communicating whatever message you want to communicate or whatever situation is happening that you want to be a part of. You could, and I think it's the thing. You still have a voice, even if that voice reaches one person,
Yeah.
100 people, or 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Each of us have a voice that allows us to be able to do that. And what I may say today could change one person or 100,000 people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
But if I never say anything, it's never going to impact or have any influence in any type of way.
Exactly.
Right. And I think a lot of people, they want to have this grandiose thing. Well, if I'm going to do something, it needs to impact 1,000,000 people. Well, it may never, but are you okay with it impacting 1,000 people? You just changed
Exactly.
1,000 people's lives,
Do something.
but you got to do something.
You have to do something. It fell on me as a responsibility to do something within my art that would be able to reach some of the masses. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? As far as music goes, you have to have like a huge budget to like really get it out there. It had its viral moments,
Mhm.
but it also will be there.
It's evergreen. It
It's
can stay there
there. It's there.
because the topic is relative
Yes.
from now until the end of history.
It is, and that art it will be discovered at any time by who's looking for that type of art.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And I think there are others out there that are doing the same thing. And if I'm looking at the landscape of music, there may be once in a while a person who talks about these type of topics from a
Mhm.
mainstream perspective, right? Kendrick is a person who would do that,
Right.
right? He would talk about those. I still remember, was it at the BT Awards, MTV Awards? It was an award show.
Mhm.
When he had like the prison.
I was at that show.
Yeah, that
I
was
think that was the Grammys.
a Grammy. That one was that was
I
powerful.
believe it was the Grammys, I think, but I was at that show. And it was. And he's one of the, mainstream artists
Mm-hmm.
that has definitely spoken out. But we need more of it. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
it's not how we had Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder, and I mean, you could just go on and on. From that time, everyone, James Brown, you just had these records that you going out and you marching.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. It wasn't that Marvin Gaye's what's going
What's
on?
going on?
That everybody think that's just a little, a nice what's going, like,
Mhm.
oh, no, that had a message behind it.
Yes.
That was like a real political song about what's actually happening in that space he was in at that time.
Exactly.
I think the whole album was, if I remember correctly, because I read once again R&B stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that Barry Gordy didn't even want him to put that album out. It was like, yeah, nah, bro, you tripping with this one. Like Marvin Gaye was like, nah, trust me, you need to put this out.
Roll it out.
And they were like, we don't know. And they put it, and they were like, oh,
you have to. You have a responsibility,
Mhm.
and then people are experiencing these things, and to have music to join that experience, it just heightens it and makes it just. I don't know. It just makes you want to go out there and fight.
Mm-hmm.
And feel like, okay, I'm not alone. You're not alone.
That's right.
And that's just, I just feel that's part of my responsibility as an artist.
Yeah, that's what Michael Jackson said, right? You're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
I
make
make a lot of musical references. And when I hear words, all of a sudden a song pops in my head about about it. I'm weird like that. That's a weird thing.
No, you're not, because I do that too.
I did want to ask you, and it popped in my head as we were talking. Have you been keeping up with the whole Timbaland, TaTa, AI?
So exhausting.
Okay, it's so exhausting, right? But I'm still going to ask you though, because we talked about managing artists and the issues that come with managing an artist or having an artist on your label, right? So how do you feel about Timbaland and what's happening now with him, quote unquote, signing? Because it's not a real person you can sign, but signing a AI artist. What's your perspective?
Sorry, I didn't mean to breathe that hard. I think it's dumb. Just, how are you signing something that you're creating that's not even human? And why would you even throw something like that out there? Why are you on these lives having real artists waste their time sending in music that you're vetting, and to go and sign digital AI TaTa? And even the name. Why would you name her TaTa?
She named herself. No, I'm joking.
She probably did.
She
but
didn't.
I don't. It's something about the human element when it comes to music. Music is something that you hear it, and then you experience it, you feel it, and that the feeling that you get when you listen to something is not quite the same when it's now coming from something that's not human. So good luck with that. But I think it's a slap in the face to all these brilliant artists out here that are born with this talent, that are cultivating their talent, that are putting the work in. You definitely, Timbaland, could have found a real human artist
That's true.
that could really take it there. There are so many people that never get a chance.
There are so many. So, and the reason why I asked that is because I did a whole video on this whole thing, right? It's on YouTube in case y'all need to go. You haven't seen it yet, but anyway.
Check it out.
I did a whole video talking about this thing, and then so we talked about it on the podcast last week. I did a video about it, and one of my co-hosts sent me a video clip of Russ talking about the same thing, and I've been following this thing, and Russ and I kind of said the same thing, because we talked about having an artist stealing, not really pouring into their career at the level that they should, slacking off maybe, or doing whatever it is.
The cons.
Right. All the cons that come with being an artist. So he doesn't have to worry about any of those. Right. Is
that what it is, though?
I don't know.
That's what it's come to. So now this is what all these labels are going to do now. Yeah. They're going to just get AI artists. The industry's dead if they start doing that stuff. But then again, labels are not really what they used to be. Anyway. So this would be another flash in the pan, like these artists that they just have viral moments and they have one hit and they burn out. This will burn out too.
So I'm interested in seeing I just wanted your perspective, because we talked about managing artists and all the cons that come with it. And with something like this, you don't have any cons. No, you can't have TaTa can't tell me no. And I can tell TaTa what to do.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't. I just can't. I can't be sold on an AI artist. I just can't.
Yeah, me either.
I don't want any part of that type of art.
Yeah. No, trust me. I feel you. So for yourself, you're not just an artist, right? You're also a label owner, an author, right? I got your book, Bam, right?
Fitness journal.
Are we going to talk about that? That is an actual next question that I have, that we'll talk about this specifically. Real estate investor and founder of your own publishing and film ventures. So we talked about having business acumen, financial acumen, things like that. So what lessons have you learned from running the business side of music that every indie artist needs to know?
Ooh, lessons. Oh gosh. Be careful of your associations and who you trust, of course. It's hard. I find it hard to delegate because
Mm,
of that. But if you can, delegate if you can. Um have your back end straight. Make sure that you have your stuff straight with your publishing, with your pros and uh sound exchange, and there's just so many. Just make sure that you have your paperwork together. That's the biggest thing. And it's the most annoying part
mm-hmm.
of music publishing or a label is having your back end together. So, um, is that a lesson I learned? I mean, I haven't hurt myself in that kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
but just to give you some prep. But the biggest lesson that I have been hurt by is having people that don't do what they're supposed to do or overpromise and
And deliver.
underdeliver.
Right.
So you have to be very careful of the people that you hire for your marketing because as a label owner, you have to have record promotions. You have to have DSPs, which is your digital, streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have someone that covers that and that's watching that. Um, if you are at a point where you need a publicist, then you have another leg there. Then you have video promotions. You have specific people that go and pitch your video that you have to now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of different when you see these big labels, they have a marketing department with like hundreds of people and so on and so forth. But as an independent, you still need those bases covered,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what it is that you are looking to attain as far as reach. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons is you're only as strong as the team that you hire around you, and just be careful of
That's right.
said team. And I'm lucky that the team that I have a team that's been riding with me for years. You know, um, some people come, some people go as far as like different marketing people that I hire. But for the most line, my baseline has been people that have gone through the trenches with me.
Mm.
So that I'm very blessed to have. And not saying that I don't try, and because I do, I will give you a chance. If you tell me that you could do XYZ, I will give you a specific amount of
Mm-hmm.
time. Don't tie yourself up in long contracts. You give somebody a certain amount of time to prove themselves. And if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then that gives you a way out. You always want to have some way to
That's right.
to get out of
That's right.
something. So just be careful. You know, I gotten to a point now where I don't trust people, but you're gonna have to trust someone because you can't do it all yourself. You just can't, because you will get to the point that I got to where I'm just totally just burnt out. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just burnt out. Like, you mean I gotta go home? I gotta check what's going on Pandora. I gotta check what's going on here. I gotta check the charts here. I have to check.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's a lot to manage. So yeah, that's the lessons I learned. You
Yeah.
want to get the right people around you that could allow you to create. Because
Mm.
honestly, I will find myself doing so much on the business end. By the time I'm ready to create, I'm exhausted.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't like the business side of it. Is because of the amount of work and energy and effort it takes to
Yeah.
do all of that, and then to try to also be an artist. And I want to be an artist, right? Well, I'm not really saying I want to be like
Right.
me right here,
No.
but I want to be an artist, right?
Yeah.
And if I want to be an artist, I didn't sign up to, you know, sign up with, with ASCAP or BMI and Harry Fox and Sound Exchange and
Mm-hmm.
all these other things, and have to upload my music and get them copywritten by the copyright office and do all this and then check it every
Mm-hmm.
month and find out what. I don't want to do that. I just want to sing. I want to rap. I want to produce. And it's like, yeah, no, but as an independent, we no longer have the luxury of a label who would take care of those things.
No.
You now have to wear each of those different hats in order for your career to be successful.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
It's hard.
That's hard.
It's a very hard place. I find myself exhausted, but because I love music and it's a labor of love, but at the same time, it takes a lot
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be disciplined enough, vigilant enough to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And I'm not like perfect and I don't know it all. Like I got a good handle of things, but I'm still learning about different services that are out there that are, international services that I'm like, oh, I didn't know about this one. Let me look into that. And let me tap into that and see what money I got overseas.
That's
Or,
right.
So it's an evolution. And, but do it.
Right.
If you want it, do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all know about neighboring rights? You gotta learn that. It's once again, it's that learning thing. So I always tell people, I'm gonna reach down here and get these 3 books I got down here. Well, actually, I'm a book person. I got books everywhere on just music stuff. I mean, y'all can see there's.
Yes.
You may not be able to see it, but there's books over here. Introduction to Music Publishing for Musicians, Business Basics for Musicians, Music Marketing
Good
for the
stuff.
DIY musician, Personal Finance for the musician, right? But there's always 3 books I always go back to, or at least 2 books that I think you should read and you should know about. And I'm going to pull them out. I normally don't pull them out, but. I would tell Pete, there's 2 books, right? Is
that the one by Kashif?
No,
no. That's the one I got the one by
Kashif. Yes, I do.
That's where I started.
Yes, I do. I got right. That's actually upstairs. All You Need to Know About the Music Business by my man Donald Passman. Everybody got this book. You all know who Donald Passman is, right? So he's a lawyer. He talks about all the legal stuff and all. But I think from an independent perspective, this book is the book. How I Made It in the New Music Business. Practical Tips on Building a Loyal Following and Making a Living as a Musician by Ari Herstand.
Okay.
To me, this book is on par with this book.
Okay.
These books, these 2, oh man, you got all the
knowledge you need.
Now you just gotta apply it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
'Cause I can read the book, but I gotta actually apply what I'm learning. And
that's a fact.
Because he talks about a lot of different stuff in the book, but yeah, I mean, because you wear a lot of different hats, and you have to, right? Well, some hats you take on yourself, but you're like, I want to do this, and I'm going to do it because I got the skills to be able to do it,
right?
And so you're like, I'm going to go do that, right? It's not often that you find an artist who has their own publishing, their label, film ventures, real estate, author, right? We talked about her being an author, right? We'll get to it in a second. But a lot of people don't have those many different things that they're doing. But for you, you're wearing multiple hats.
I am.
And at the end of the day, you're still an artist. And you're still writing music, putting out music, and performing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Exhausting, hearing it come back at me. And
on top of that, you have a family.
I do.
So how do you juggle all that?
I don't sleep a lot. I mean, it's all right. So for me, this is how I get through. And believe me, a week for you guys is like a day for me. If that makes sense. Like, it's just, I'm going that months just past. Months are like a week to me because I'm so busy. But I compartmentalize a lot and I just organize things like in my brain. I have boxes. It sounds crazy.
Yeah, boxes.
So open the box, that done, throw that away. Next one. And I just keep going. And I don't know if that's like the healthiest thing to do, but that's just how I do it.
No, I don't think there's an issue with that. I think you have to compartmentalize. I think you have to prioritize. I think that's what people get lost, is that they're not prioritizing. You don't have any prioritizing ranking system, or you're not using any type of priority matrix for, once again, I'll tell you my background is in, this is what leadership development organizations. So,
Right.
right. I mean, you don't have are you ranking your tasks? So when I would teach prioritization, I would talk about, having ranking your priorities ABC and then 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then figuring out how they rank. There may be an A1 and an A2, and there may be a B1 and a B2, and there may be a C1 and a
Right.
C2, right? And how do you rank them? And then you rank them in order of importance, and then you go through. And so I think it is, you have to compartmentalize.
That's the only way. That's the only way. And um that's how I've been sustaining. But also, to be honest, sometimes you forget stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You do. You be like, oh gosh, all right, now how am I gonna fit this in? You know, so it
Yeah.
happens. You're not. It's not gonna be 100% all the time, but for the most part, if I'm dropping
Right.
a ball, I could catch it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about your book. So what role does fitness play in your personal transformation, and how does that discipline carry over into your creative and entrepreneurial grind?
Oh well.
And let's talk about the book in there.
It took a lot of discipline to lose the weight after I had my son. Um, always been a small person growing up. Eat whatever, that was
Mhm.
nice. Young, had my first child back in like a size 4. I was tiny back then. After I had my son, 2 years later, after my daughter, the weight just would not come off.
Mm.
And I'm like, what is going on? It was kind of scary. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to work out, like really work out.
Mm.
And
Not casual workout,
no,
but
not just,
really.
yeah, you're going to have to be scheduled, discipline. And I started to I made lifestyle changes, um, watching carbs, watching sugar, and I did it where it was a step down in the beginning so that it was something that was manageable. Because to make a lifestyle change, you can't really go cold turkey. Like people, they do it, but a lot of times it fails because
Mm.
I did things gradually. So I lost 40 pounds. I I watched my diet for the most part, cut the carbs, cut the sugar, and I worked out 3 times a week and lost 40 pounds. And then I started running after that. And I ran a couple of marathons and a lot of other races. And I kind of got addicted to that for a while because now I wanted to do some type of sport,
Mm.
that isn't just focused on just strength training you know, and cardio. And I started doing that. And yeah, and now, just trying to maintain. I got to a point where I got really too skinny
Oh,
to me. Like, you need to have that's
you
like
gotta have a little
at
bit
this
of.
point, yeah, I was competing for the cover of Women's Health magazine.
Mm.
So I was like ripped and waist was like this small. Like I was so tiny. I was more
Mm.
like I guess like Tiana Taylor, like
Mm.
smaller.
Mm.
And that was cool, but then certain projects that I come up later, now we're off the book kind of, but that's what prompted me to write the book.
So
That's how we got here.
okay.
My marketing lady at the time, Donna Lisa Johnson, she was like, listen, people need to know how you lost this weight.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And my thing was always, it's simple. And that's where the name Monique Nikkole's Simple Fitness Journal. If you memorialize what you eat every day, if you
Mm-hmm.
if you write it down, right, and it becomes real, like, oh my God, I ate that donut. Ooh, maybe I should. But yeah, but if you might not remember it if you don't write it down, right? But if you look and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I ate a donut yesterday. I had a hamburger. I had French fries.
Mm-hmm.
So it prompts you to write. So and I'm old school too. Like I actually write in a marble notebook. I write my songs. And that's how the connection got bridged with my marketing lady. She's like, "You still writing notebooks?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She was
My
like,
wife does that. I mean, she has
"Yeah,
notebooks upon notebooks that she'll write
me
in.
too." And that's how this came about: logging your water, or logging your food intake. What you're doing in the gym? How many reps? Because that sometimes you forget that. How much weight
Mm-hmm.
did you have on the machine, and how many reps, and so on and so forth. So this way you can watch your progress. And then along the way, it has inspirational quotes to keep you going, because sometimes it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Look, you
And
got that right.
and it teaches you to speak kindly to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got
Mm-hmm.
to be gentle with yourself and how you speak to yourself.
Yeah.
And
At the end, there's each make today a great day. Right? Don't quit.
Mhm.
Stay dedicated. You are making great strides. This time you will succeed because and I think it's important to write it down too because you may see that, oh, I ate a donut today. Oh, I ate a
Mhm.
donut the other day too. Oh,
Mm.
I ate a donut the
And
other day
then there's
before
that
that.
10 pounds you gain back,
You know what?
right?
I eat donuts too much in here. And
Mhm.
then I guess you can say, oh, I need to make a change. I need to switch it up. I need to do something that's different.
Right.
So where can they get the book?
Amazon.com.
Amazon.
So it has, it has the story of the weight loss in the front.
Mm.
There's also a PDF that you can download from the website, which comes with the book, and it has like a running guide. And if you're interested in
Yup.
that leg of it,
I'm interested. I'm trying to.
yeah,
That's why I probably can't be an artist because I'm like, I want to be Ruben Studdard. I want to be slimmer
you're
down.
good.
I want to be slimmer. I want to be like Tyrese. Cut. Tank. I want to be like Tank.
Tank, right?
Yeah, slim and just cut. I ain't taking my
Yeah.
shirt off though. Like when I'm an artist, my wife be like,
Yeah, put that shirt back
she be like,
on.
"What you doing?
Exactly.
You tripping?" She's like, "You tripping?" All right, I said,
I know that's right.
I'll be here like a Mario. I ain't trying to do that. But, Mario. But yeah. So okay, so you wrote the book.
Mm-hmm.
You started running. You started losing the weight, and so that just now became a part. So, and you said you made some daily life changes, and you made incremental ones. And so
I started. I did simple things like in the beginning. Instead of I cut sugar out of my tea.
what you put in honey?
No, I used like Splendor, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
right, and then it just was black,
Mm.
nothing.
Mm.
But yeah, but your taste buds start to
They
shift,
do.
and you do what you need to do to try to wean yourself off the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just each couple of weeks eliminating something else, and then it got to where I was just like doing veggie omelets, and that would be my breakfast, like no potatoes, no bread,
No, wait,
and
no hash browns?
none of
Oh
that.
nah.
That was my
Oh nah.
breakfast. I would do like a smoothie, definitely get my fruits and more veggies and protein, and occasionally a sweet potato or something, a good
Right.
complex carbohydrate. I mean, you're working out, you're gonna need some energy, but the simple sugars, the white bread, the white rice, get yourself some brown rice, some, what is that, couscous. They have all kinds of different grains and stuff like that, and don't eat too much of that either. But that's how I was able to cut. And now I'm like in a different place where I don't want to be that small anymore. Like I let that go. Stay fit. I'm still cut, but I think I'm going in another direction. I think I wouldn't want to build now.
Right.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because that takes discipline.
it does.
100% discipline. Like you got to be in it.
You yes.
You got to be in it, right? So you became a vegetarian. Is that
I was a vegan for a
vegan for a
while.
while?
And when I started training for the New York City Marathon, I felt depleted. I mean, some people can train, and there's a lot of vegan bodybuilders and stuff like that, but it wasn't working for me. And I put fish back in my diet at that point. And yeah, and kept training for the marathon. And that's when I kind of left the vegan journey at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like how I felt. So, but the other side of it, when I wasn't running, I felt great. I didn't have brain fog or anything like that. So it's just really just finding a balance, like anything else.
Right.
And I would have a cheat meal on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's right.
the thing is that once you train your metabolism and you build enough muscle, the muscle burns fat at rest. So if you could get your body to where it's a fat burning machine, you can start to have a treat here and there. But I found that my taste buds also shifted too, though. So I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Your taste buds will shift. That's right. So can you talk about some of the incredible honors that you've received, right? The Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, an honorary doctorate.
Yeah.
So what do these recognitions mean to you personally, and how do they validate or influence the work you've done, not just as an artist, but as a leader and role model?
Wow. I mean, all of what you mentioned was pretty mind blowing. And I'm a person that keeps my head down and I work. And like I'm not looking for like awards and recognition, you know, of such. It's nice, it's wonderful. But it was surreal. Like in hearing someone talk about your work that you've done and you never know who's really watching. You know what I'm
You never know.
saying? Watching you work, watching you grind. And, you know, a lot of times at least for me, I can't speak for everyone else, you're so off to the next one that you don't celebrate those wins, whether they're big or small. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And you just off to the next one. And it made me stop and smell my flowers in the moment, you know, and it's awesome. It's nice to be recognized that way and have your work recognized in that way.
So how did you get the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award?
Really for all the stuff that I've done in the community during law enforcement and support, you know, just supporting other artists. A lot of things that I do that aren't always on Instagram, community based, and people just watching you do these things and feeling that you've done so much within the community that they wanted to honor me in that way. So
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It is a worthwhile effort to have other people see that you are putting in the work, because sometimes you don't really get recognized, right? You go day in and day out, you grind every single day, and you're not really doing it for the accolades. But when it happens, you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right? Like I got an acquaintance. I can't say we're friends yet because I don't know him at that level yet, and we don't speak that often like that. But his name is Amadeus.
Yes.
Right? He's from New York, and he has a street named.
I met him.
Yeah. They named a street after him up there in New York. And
he's a producer, right?
He's a producer. Yeah.
I met him at my commencement ceremony. Busta Rhymes and myself received our honoraries on the same day, and Amadeus was there on the dais.
Yeah, because he also has an honorary doctorate as well.
Yes.
So, yep.
Yes,
So,
and
yeah.
I met him at the commencement ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think who else? Was it Nova? International Nova?
I don't know.
Nova? Did you get an honorary doctorate too? I think. He looked like he got an honorary doctorate from what I saw. I'm gonna call you. We're gonna find out. He got an honorary doctorate too. But he stated that it was just a surprise. You know, he got an email. He looked at it and was like, I don't think this is real. Can you read this? This is what he's like, yeah, bro, they're gonna name a street after you.
That's amazing.
Like, for all the work that he's done in the community with the children, you know, and everything. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
But you never know who was watching. And our job is to not know who's watching. Our job is to do the work that we've been put here to do.
Right.
And you do that. If you're doing the job that you're supposed to do and you're putting 100% into it, the likelihood is you're going to be rewarded.
That's true.
Right.
Because that's what happened with me. I wasn't expecting it. And I'm just like, and I'm very humble too. So I'm
Mm.
like, it's like, yeah.
Mhm.
And, yes. So someone saw me and they saw the work
Mhm.
and they felt I was worthy of the honor. And I'm just grateful for it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I just have two more questions for you.
Okay.
The first question is, so you got an EP dropping this summer,
I
all
do.
right? So let's talk about that. Can you give us a glimpse into the inspiration behind the new EP coming? What themes or emotions are you exploring on this project? And how does it reflect where you are right now in your life and artistry?
Yes. It's gonna take you on a nice ride through time, I think. I have some upbeat records on there. I got a stepping record on there.
Mm.
Of course, I'm a crooner, so you have your slow jams on there. And I think it's very reflective of where I am right now, especially with the last few records that I did. It's like it's a really sweet spot for me.
Mm.
And the name of the project is called Enigmatic because my husband, he refers to me as an enigma.
Mm.
Like you're an enigma, and then because I could sing multiple genres
Mhm.
and it's then the fashion end of it and you know, it just kind of fit. And then with me being from New York and Nas's album
Illmatic.
Illmatic,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
right?
up there.
So it's
Oh yeah, it's
there you
right behind.
go. There you-
Bam.
right
It's
there.
behind you.
So I'm an enigma and I'm enigmatic. And the work is reflective of
Mm.
the title.
You can have a picture of you as a child up there.
I
As the cover.
don't
Oh.
know. I didn't do
No, I
that.
was just saying. You mentioned Nas as Illmatic. You know.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's how the name
Mm.
came, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be fun. I think there'll be some things that people won't expect on there, but then again, it's me, so you might expect it.
You might expect it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, or there may be something that surprises you, and you're like, "Oh wow, that's unique. That's different. That's awesome."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gearing up to release that soon.
Yeah, summer
Yes, indeed.
2025.
Yes.
Right. You see, there's not a date, right? You see, there's no date like September, this day, right? Because I do, and that's the thing because things do change,
Yeah,
right?
and oh my gosh, because I was gonna release it. I'll tell you now. I mean, I was gonna release it June 13th, right? And then something fell on my heart to add one
Mm.
more song.
Oh, wait, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this was like a month or more ago
Mm-hmm.
that was gonna be the date, and in between that time that I set that date in my head, I wanted to do one more
One more
song.
song.
Yeah, and I have to do this song.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
How many songs
So
on the album?
7, 8, 7, 7.
7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
And I'm sure you're gonna have music videos, and which are of course
Yeah.
expensive to do. I mean, but if you got cameras and like I got a friend. Is he a friend? I'm always thinking about that word. Right? You can tell.
You got to use that very carefully. Acquaintance?
He's a higher level acquaintance. I'll say
Okay.
that. His name is Matt B. And
Oh.
well, he's in California now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So he and I was going back and forth and talking about cameras. Like he just bought cameras, lenses,
Yeah, I
sending
saw
lenses,
his,
and
yeah, I see his content all the
Yeah. Me
time.
and Matt are always going back and forth. He talking about something. I'm like, yeah, but you got to think about this, and then yeah. So I'm a camera guy. He's a camera guy. But I think that's the thing, right? There was a point in his journey, and maybe for other artists who are out there as well, that it may be easy for you to do it yourself, right? Like him and Angela, they do their own videos.
Mm-hmm.
He may be
That's
in the video
smart.
doing this thing, and it's Angela actually behind the camera shooting the actual thing. or there may be some B-roll scenes, and he's behind the camera,
Right.
kind of doing those things. And sometimes it may have to be something like that, like International Nova. When I had him on the show, he would do his own videos, and we talked about editing videos and all that because I do video. I actually shot a video of me of some content I'm ready to put out before you got here.
Oh.
About an hour or so, a couple hours before you got here, and I was editing it and everything, and it's all done before we ended this interview.
Oh, wow.
But sometimes you may have to do it yourself. I mean, I could hire an editor, but I know how to edit. I know how to color.
Right.
I just do it myself.
Right.
So sometimes you may have to. You spoke about wearing many different hats and delegating.
Yes.
Sometimes you may have to delegate because I'm sure there's going to be a moment in time where I'm not going to be able to do that.
No. Yeah, I've never shot my own like music videos. I've never done that. But I'm looking to upgrade my camera.
I got cameras. I got camera ideas.
Because I need my content to look like you can reach out and touch. Like this iPhone thing is not working. I do have like a Nikon that I used to use, but it's old now. It's time to get some of the newer technology and lenses so that I can really do this whole social media thing that I have to do. You have to do that. That's a part of it. Yeah, you have to be a content creator. So I want my content to look amazing.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I always tell people, never lose the main purpose. You're creating content to push out music. And I've seen people who were artists or musicians who transitioned into being just content creators. And now they don't do any of that anymore. And it's like now you may make more money or there's more visibility doing that, but it's leaving behind the real root of why you got into doing music in the very first place.
Right. And that is a uncomfortable place, like for me, because I'm like, I just want to be an artist, but no, you gotta fall into this whole social media thing. That's what it is now. Everyone has this little box in their pocket that they're scrolling on constantly, and
all the time.
You have to be a part of that content that they're scrolling through.
So crazy.
And it has to look amazing. So it's time to that's where I'm at, upgrading. It's upgrade time. Yeah.
So last question. So for ladies who want to get into music, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them for getting into this
lion's den?
This lion's den.
Don't sacrifice your integrity for anything. I mean, first and foremost, because this game is it's a lot of devilment in it. And choose your alliances wisely. But that's for men too. It's not just ladies, but because it's a male dominant industry, you have to really be careful. And also understand that if you think the world is small, the music world's really tiny. So,
really tiny.
Your reputation precedes you. You have to just be careful. Just use integrity in how you move within the industry and protect yourself. Don't put yourself in situations that you don't need to be in. And when you can, have someone to accompany you to, meetings and so on and so forth. And just do your research like anything else. I mean, I would give the same advice to like my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Use common sense. If it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. And that's not even from like a male female perspective, but from like an artist perspective. A lot of times the hairs will stand up on your neck. There's a reason. If it gives you pause, it gives you pause to think. So think. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much common sense. I think anyway, but maybe that information might help.
Sometimes common sense ain't
it's
so
not
common.
common. Yeah.
Right?
And trust your gut. Always trust your gut. and those
That's the
hairs.
thing. Trust your
You
gut.
have to trust your gut. It's telling you, and that's God telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. Yeah. If it don't feel right, 9 times out of 10, it's not.
Yeah, because well, you don't know, but we had a podcast episode where we were talking about Carrie Hilson
Mm-hmm.
and how Carrie Hilson stated on the Breakfast Club that when she saw those lyrics, she didn't want to sing those lyrics. And if you're thinking about, she was like, it was like my gut said, don't do that, but she did it anyway, and it led to situations that happened.
Right.
But and I think that's the thing that independent. Well, in this case, she was signed, but even as an independent, I think you have more freedom or control in respect to that.
Absolutely,
Right?
because you could do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. And in this case, she was signed, and it's like, you're going to sing these lyrics, and she's like, she could have said, "No, I'm not." Well, we're going to shelf everything, right? And so
That's a very hard
how do
place
you?
to be, and then especially back then, you're young, you're impressionable, you're trying to be a people pleaser. There's different stages that you go through in life, and sometimes you got to get burnt to learn. But
Gotta test the stove.
yeah, an experience is the best teacher. But if you have somebody that's coming before you and they telling you, you might want to take heed to that.
Yeah.
And again, when it comes back to sacrificing your integrity, if the words are not something that you feel should be coming out of your mouth, then maybe you shouldn't be singing it.
That's right.
That's how, I mean,
I agree.
it's,
You
to
got
me,
it.
I
I
don't
agree with that.
understand the struggle. And you're gonna shelf me? Then you do what you gotta do.
What you got to do? But I know what I got to do. I gotta protect myself.
Right.
And this don't feel good to me by me putting this out or saying this or doing this or talking about that particular person, or that don't feel right.
Right.
And I guess the overall intention is, why do you want me to do it anyway? Right? If you're supposed to have my best interest at heart as an artist, why do you want me to do that?
Right.
Why do you want me to say those things about maybe this person or that person?
Messy
stuff.
Messy. But the industry thrives off of mess too, because they need those moments of conflict in order to sell records. And it's just sloppy. And if you could just stay clear of it and just put yourself around the right people. If you got family members that you could have in your team, or just keep, like my mom, let me tell you something. She give it to you raw, no chaser. And sometimes you don't want to hear what mom has to say. Oh, she gonna tell you. And 9 times out of 10, she's right. I learned to listen to my mom, and she's still very heavy in my camp. And you need that. You need that. You need that reality check. You need somebody that's gonna be totally just real with you to keep you grounded, and to help you see the devils that's out there, because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Monique, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Is there anything I forgot?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. But it's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. Anytime. Yeah, appreciate it.
It's fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, I try to make it fun and energetic and interesting and have a good time. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for being with us here on the Indie Unplugged and being introduced or reintroduced and getting to know the wonderful, the amazing Monique Nikkole. Y'all have a great day, night, evening, whenever you watch this. Peace.